Donald Trump walking back his claims that President Obama and Hillary Clinton are co-founders of ISIS, but not until after multiple interviews where he doubled down on the claim. Here he is telling Hugh Hewitt he meant exactly what he said.
Last night, you said the president was the founder of ISIS. I know what you meant. You meant that he created the vacuum, he lost the peace.
No, I meant he's the founder of ISIS. I do. He was the most valuable player. I give him the most valuable player award. I give her, too, by the way.
But he's not sympathetic to them. He hates them. He's trying to kill them.
He was the founder. The way he got out of Iraq was that was the founding of ISIS.
But by using the term founder, they're hitting with you on this again. Mistake?
No, it's no mistake. Everyone's liking it. I think they're liking it.
But then there was this morning. He tweeted out, quote, ratings challenged CNN reports so seriously that I called President Obama and Clinton the founder of ISIS and MVP. They don't get sarcasm? Trump made the same claim of sarcasm last month after calling for Russia to help find Hillary Clinton's deleted emails. All right, so let's discuss this for a second. So he had multiple opportunities, right, Eric, to say, all right, here's exactly what I meant. But no, he went back to those exact words that the president founded ISIS.
Yeah, even last night, I gave him the opportunity to call it something else. I said, how about call it enabled ISIS? And I bet you'd get a bunch of Democrats that would agree with you that President Obama could have enabled ISIS by creating the vacuum in Iraq that ISIS filled with terror. And he said, no, I'm going to stay with founded ISIS. But, okay, look, I think he at some point has to say, all right, focus our attention on Hillary Clinton. Stop getting yourself into
but that was kind of a crazy thing to say, though. You got to say, you can't, I'm sarcastic excuse. You can't, that's not how you can live your life. You can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, Mr. Undercover Officer, I know I just offered you money to kill my wife, but I was being sarcastic, just kidding. Doesn't just absolve you of everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he should have either stayed with founder
but
or...
he's trying to, I don't know if he's trying to be interesting, but he doesn't have to go there.
But Julie, you can make the case that we have seen Hillary Clinton do similar things to Donald Trump, like reference him as an ISIS recruiter. Listen.
He is becoming ISIS's best recruiter. They are going to people showing videos of Donald Trump insulting Islam and Muslims in order to recruit more radical jihadists.
The way Donald Trump talks about terrorism and his, very insulting language toward Muslims is making him the recruiting sergeant for ISIS.
She's suggesting he's actually recruiting for ISIS?
Here's the difference. If Sandra Smith were to ask Hillary Clinton on TV, if she were to sit down with you, are you literally suggesting that Donald Trump is recruiting for ISIS? Don't you simply mean that his rhetoric is helping ISIS recruit candidates? And she said, no, Sandra. No, I literally mean she's recruiting for ISIS.
I could see her going on to explain just how he is helping the situation.
Exactly right, which is what Donald Trump should have done. Eric is absolutely right. He should have said to Hugh Hewitt, you know what I meant? I meant that he created a vacuum in Syria, he created a vacuum in Iraq, and because of her
Here's the difference,
policy.
Here's the difference.
What?
Donald Trump has asked the question again and again. Hillary gets to say it and never gets asked it a second time.
Fine, you could blame the media for it, but the problem for the problem for Donald Trump is this: he's constitutionally incapable of talking about her for a long period of time.
Dagen.
All he does is talk about himself, and this is why he gets into problems like this. He's incapable of bringing the message back to what needs to be brought back to her.
When I see those clips of Hillary Clinton, it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck, because I've heard this from the left, that somehow the United States and our actions on the world stage prior to 9/11 brought those attacks on this very nation, and it smacks of that. And I find it absolutely repugnant. On the other hand, with Donald Trump, I think people ask me in the street. I had so many people in the last few days when I was in Virginia ask me, oh my God, can you believe what Donald Trump said? And
I actually, people in Virginia talk like?
And yeah, well, in Charlottesville they do, because they're all from the Northeast. And I said, you know what? I'm kind of plumb full of outrage at this point. I'm a little bit numb to it, and I think there's some of the strategy to that. The more that he does that, people just become immune to reaction. But I've said this about President Obama over and over again: his refusal to call terrorists radical Islamic terrorists. Words do matter. And if I'm going to hold the president to that standard, then the candidates have to be held to that standard as well.
And so he had so many opportunities, Kat. He didn't see the need to clarify his statement.
No, because he loves doing this thing where he says things that are bold and gets attention. It's more exciting to listen to him talk, which is true. But when you're running up against the most boring person like ever, you can tone it down a little bit so you don't get yourself in this kind of trouble. I mean, we're talking about somebody that we want to be president, we don't want to have to worry about them saying stuff like
and
this,
by the way,
rather than explaining themselves.
That remark that he made about John McCain last year was actually, I don't know if he knows it, but it was a joke ripped off from Chris Rock from 2008. He just didn't know how to tell it well.
It wasn't even his joke.
Well, but can I just say, you know, he said, if you notice how he put it, ratings challenge CNN. All Donald Trump cares about is ratings, eyeballs, and he's ever increasing rhetoric to try to get those ratings up for himself. He's a reality star who's running for president, and you see that in the rhetoric, and that's why it's so incendiary.
Moving on to this.